Greetings, Vault Hunters all across the 6 galaxies. Welcome to the Bordercast. We are live at our usual time, 2 p.m. Eastern, 11 a.m. Pacific. I'm Mitsu.
And I'm Jessica, coming to you every week to bring all things Borderlands. I'm sorry.
She can't keep a straight face. I love it. It's wonderful. Before we get started, as always, we want to take a minute to thank all of our new listeners on iTunes, Spotify, and Stitcher, and those watching right now on Twitch, YouTube, Facebook, and see more later on the VOD on YouTube. If you're enjoying the program, we would love for you to give us a big ol' like, follow, or favorite, because yesterday I got you some answers about Ava, and that's worth a like at least, right? Right?
Definitely. I'm so sorry. Oh God.
Hello, everybody. It's good to see all of you here
Mitsu,
today across all platforms.
That was 10 out of 10. He kept it going beyond. I broke first.
Yeah.
You broke real hard too.
I couldn't help it.
The visual for those of you listening later on the audio services is we were all bobbing our heads in unison. Yes. That's all I'm going to say about it. I'm not going to explain it any further.
You just have to see it. You had to be here. You had to be here.
You had to be here. That's really what it was. Ongoing information real quick. Who's got a big show today? Crossplay is coming. I promise it's coming very soon. We've heard a lot of information that's very encouraging. And hopefully when we have more information about that, we'll be able to share it with you as time goes on. The Borderlands show, it happened. We're going to talk about it very, very soon because it was really good. And we'll get into that in a second. Gearbox merged. Wow, words already. Merged with Embracer, which was a really cool thing. If you did not catch last week's episode, please make sure that you do so you can find out all about why this is actually a really, really good thing. Jamie Lee Curtis signed on to be Tannis, and Jack Black will be our Claptrap in the Borderlands movie. More on that next week, though, because this week's show is too big to cover everything on that front. Borderlands 3, the Ultimate Edition, is now 50% off on the Microsoft Steam and Epic Game Stores, and Broken Hearts starts today, and we'll talk about that a little bit more in a second with our guests on the program today. MystiqueSiren rejoins the program, as does everyone's favorite dad of the community, Ki11erSix. Thank you both for joining us so much on the program today.
What's up?
You guys
Thanks
are
for
so
having us.
awesome.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much for being here. We're so excited to have you both here and talk story and talk movie and talk merger and talk everything.
There's so much.
Absolutely everything. Yes. Also, I'm trying to do the thing. I suck at the thing.
It's like
Like
walking
we're all
and
out of
chewing
sync.
bubble gum at the same
Yes.
time. It's like bobbing and talking at the same time. It's hard.
Yeah.
I'm very bad at that.
The secret, I'll actually tip you in on this one. The secret is I've been to enough bar mitzvahs where I know how to dance and talk at the same time, because grandma's going to want to talk with you on the dance floor because it's the only time she gets to talk with you for a while. So you just have to learn how to do it. But this is the extent of what I can do. I have no rhythm otherwise.
That makes me miss my
Had a lot of
grandma.
practice.
Yeah, it's a lot of practice.
So, how have you guys been? What have you been up to this past week in Borderlands?
You want to go first, K6, or I can go
You first. Ladies
All right.
first, always.
Oh, thank God. So I have been doing a lot of hunt prep. So I've been, I think for the past couple weeks, I've actually been doing hunt prep. I started a brand new character, been following all the rules, turned off guardian rank, turned off events, turned everything. So I've been just going through, I have like 10 pages of notes.
10 pages of notes?
Wow.
That's impressive.
Crikey.
Yeah,
Very-
legit,
Wow.
Mystique,
10 pages of notes.
can I cheat off your homework, please?
Yes, yeah, totally.
I have a doctor's note. I was having surgery.
Yeah, I
legitimately.
actually have a viewer who sent me, because I was already going to turn this into a region-based list, but they sent me a region-based list, planet-based, region-based list of every legendary that drops, every side quest you have to do, all that stuff. So I can also send that to you guys if you want. But
That
yeah,
would be
lots
amazing.
Holy moly.
of hunt prep. I made it finally. I think I made it to the end of the campaign and had I think over 100 points. But I didn't try to farm a lot of stuff early on. I just try to get as fast through there as possible. I will say this: DLC is gonna be the easiest farms, though. They for the hunt. DLC will be the easiest farms, the quickest farms. But I have a strategy that I'm not gonna tell anybody.
Fair. I know
Strategy.
K6 put together a video that I don't think was meant to guide people through the hunt, but it does guide people through the hunt because it's all the
Yeah.
exact things. I retweeted it. I can, if it's okay with K6, I can include it in the podcast description section. Yeah,
Absolutely.
Yeah, and I'll also include the link to the rules and all that stuff that Jolt's put together, the video that he did. So if you're curious to learn more about the hunt, check out the podcast, check out Ki11erSix's or Jolt's dudes or both of their Twitters, and go bug MystiqueSiren on her channel for her homework because it's amazing. I'm going to.
Yeah. Lots of writing, lots of gibberish in my notebook.
During everything that we do, I always have my eye on everything, and I apologize for kind of the interjection because I do want to ask you everything that you've been up to this week, Ki11er_6. But since this pertains to you, I feel like this is a good moment to interject for a second here. Damn it to hell, one of our fellow team members just tweeted out a picture of you sitting, I think it was E3 2019 with Jack Black. Do I have that right?
Yeah.
Yeah. We're really good friends.
Wait, when did this happen?
That's
Oh,
so
you actually didn't. You've never
cool.
seen that before.
I saw it and I heard about it. I just didn't know that you guys kept in touch and apparently good
I can
friends.
pull up the picture for you. Well,
Yes,
you've
please.
already seen it, but yeah. So at E3, somebody from 2K said, "Hey, we've got a celebrity that we want to like bring into the booth. Would you be okay with Jack Black coming in and sitting with you and playing some Borderlands?" I was like, "Yeah." It's like, you didn't have to ask me that. So he comes in. He's like the nicest guy, man. Like, you know, when you think of celebrities, you think, oh, they're probably really busy. They're, you know, got so do. He comes in. He's like, "Hey, how you doing?" Shakes my hand and it's like asking me what I'm into and all this stuff. And then he lets me blab about Road Warrior and Mad Max, and he laughs at my joke. But yeah, he was super nice.
That's so cool.
I've heard that about what's that?
Sorry, you mean celebrities are like actual human beings? What?
Can you believe that?
Yeah.
No.
Wild, right?
Sometimes it is hard to believe, though, if you're on Twitter too much.
Oh well,
Yeah.
yeah. But that's really cool that you were able to actually meet him, and it's really funny because none of us knew at that time that he would wind up being our claptrap.
Right? That's wild.
Yeah, and I have a lot of thoughts about this.
I'd like to say that I influenced that decision.
I believe that this is your fault, is what I'm learning here.
Totally. Yeah, you're welcome.
Yeah.
If that's
You're welcome,
true, K6, how would you feel about Liz, our very own 55, playing Moxie? I think she'd be amazing. She has actual acting experience. She's done movies and commercials and things like that. She's moving back to LA. She's already signed back up with her agent. She's part of SAG and all that stuff. So
Yeah,
I think she'd be amazing, right?
I think she'd be great.
100%.
She's awesome.
So don't listen to me. Listen to Ki11er_6. He knows his stuff.
Yeah, I'm a casting agent. Hold on, where's my name tag? Casting agent.
Seriously.
Yeah. So we'll get into this more next week. I wish we had the time to discuss this right now more in depth because there's so much that could be said on this. I have feelings, but we're gonna move on. Ki11er_6, what were you up to this week in Borderlands?
Well, much like my cohort over here, I was also practicing for the hunt. Not because I want to win, because I'm helping, organize the thing with Joel's dude because, somebody has to. I also have been taking notes, as you can see.
Blank page for the listeners out there.
Page. It's very good.
Don't worry about it. It'll fill up eventually.
I won't be cheating off
But
your
no,
homework.
I've
I'm
been having
sorry.
a lot of fun. I figured out a pretty nice starting method, and I'm going to tell everybody what I think is a great way to start. You just rush through until you get to Sanctuary, and you get to the point where you're ready to go to Skywell 27, and immediately, as soon as the Skywell 27 map thing comes up, go into DLC 3 and get yourself a beacon and just slaughter everything.
Yeah.
You can rush through the story the rest of the way with that thing, pretty much. It's really good.
I'm relying on DLC 3 weapons right now. I was relying on Hellshock and Hellwalker. There's a trend there. In the main story. So, yeah, they're all really good. Beacon, Flipper.
Flipper, my favorite gun ever in the universe. Beacon, also a probably my top 10. So, all right. Homework.
Yeah, I was still using my beacon, my level 18 beacon, when I was at level 32, I think it was.
Wow.
And I was still tearing enemies up. But then I got a new weapon that was even better. And I was like, well, I guess I can finally put this away.
Wow. Okay, I have a silly question for listeners and people out there that might not have, watched Jolt's vid yet that explains the rules and how everything works. So this is based on time and items, right?
Yes.
So how do people keep track of time? Do they need to have like a visual timer on their screen?
No,
No.
you don't have to do anything too extreme. The main thing is we're trying to limit people to 12 hours a day just for their health.
Okay.
More than anything. Because in previous hunts, people would stay up for 2 days at a time farming things. Yeah,
No
lazy
good
data.
Lazy data rule.
It's not just lazy. We didn't make the rule just because of lazy. We just want people to be happy and healthy and have a life outside of the hunt as well. But no, like when you stream, you do have to, if you want to compete, you do have to save your VODs. So we can easily see how long that stream was. And then we can even if you start your stream before you actually start the game, we would only count from the time you start the game to the time you finish that day. So that's your 12-hour window. So I could easily just go to the first point where you jump into the game and see how long that is.
What if you're like me and you need to take a bazillion restroom breaks?
Yeah. We wouldn't count that against you or anything like that either.
Cool.
Which is, I mean, that's perfectly fair. Having you here, I always wanted to ask you, where did you and Jolts kind of come up with the idea that you wanted to pick up the mantle of the hunt and kind of run with it? Because unfortunately, obviously, we didn't have the hunt last year, which that sucked a lot, but there were a lot of logistics factors that went into why that wasn't available. But now both of you seem to say that the game's in a really great spot. We didn't get to do it last year, which sucked. What really motivated you guys to do it this year?
Well, we had talked about potentially doing it at the end of last year. And we were thinking about even doing it in December, but we weren't sure like the time frame of other things that were coming along the horizon. We didn't want to like try and rush things either. But the reason that we took up the mantle is, Gathalion, he does his own things and he's awesome. And he did a great job of running the hunt previously, but I don't think he's as into the Borderlands 3 scene as me and Jolts are right now. So we were just like, you know what, we'll go ahead and run with it. And kind of glad we did because it's going to be fun. It's going to be really fun this year.
Yeah. I didn't get to participate originally, I think, because I was too busy I don't even know what I was doing. But I've heard about it for years and years and years. And I'm so excited that you guys are running it because, like, as a current Borderlands person, it just feels natural, like, to go to you guys. And you guys are literally like the parents of our community.
Yeah. I'm dad and he's mom.
Yeah, I was going to say Borderlands dads.
Yeah.
You can both be dads. It's fine. Yeah.
I go to Jolts and he's like, no, you can't do that. And they're like, well, I'll go ask dad. That'll let me cheat.
Well, thank you. Thank you both, seriously, so much. I appreciate it, and I'm sure the entire Borderlands community appreciates it so much because it's such a fun thing.
Absolutely our pleasure.
So moving forward, there was a something that happened today, something that we have a stinger for, which I assume Tess will probably prepare for right before she was doing something else. Sorry, I do these segues really quickly. I'm just going to say it's hotfixes applied. There it is. Hotfixes. It's time again. This hotfix, of course, introducing once more to everybody who plays Borderlands 3 and loves it as much as we do, Broken Hearts has returned, which we will talk a little bit more about as time goes on, especially when we're talking about the Borderlands show, because that was where it was first announced yesterday. But suffice to say, the Wedding Invitation is back, and there are recolors of the skins that you are familiar with last year that you can earn, and we'll talk a little bit more about that. But in the meantime, there were major buffs to certain weapons. Tess, do you happen to have a list of those handy?
I do.
What were they?
The Hail, excuse me, the Crit, the Chaoson, the Garcia, the Bouncing Pear, Impaler, Void Rift, which is a 105% buff in particular, which is banana strong, and the Black Hole. Okay, so personally, for me, I think the Impaler and the Chaoson stand out here, but what about for you guys? Mystique, Ki11erSix, Mitsu?
I oohed at the Chaoson. That was the one I oohed at, so Chaoson for sure.
Why specifically the Chaoson, though?
I mean, mainly because, like, obviously, it was really, really powerful originally. And then it got a nerf, or they fixed it. It was a nerf slash fixed adjustment. Yes, adjustment. It was adjusted, and then a lot of people, nobody really uses the Chaos. You don't see a lot of people using Chaos in their builds and stuff like that. So I hope that this buff makes people allows people to put it in their back in their builds and stuff like that. So, because it's a fun gun. I absolutely loved using that gun. Especially since it's a Mayhem 6 gun, it should do decent, damage in Mayhem 6 and above. So yeah, which that seems to be one thing that they're still struggling just a little bit with, is that rewards at Mayhem 6 and rewards for both Guardian and Maliwan Takedown aren't quite in line with the effort that you have to put in to actually obtain these things. Yeah. I'm hoping that this is a lesson learned when we go into DLC 6, and that whatever you can obtain off of Ki11erSix, spoilers, and we'll talk about that later, is again worth the time investment that you will put in order to obtain this loot. So.
K6, any standouts?
Yes. I tested everything today. And the crit that you get by tipping Moxie, the crit SMG.
Really? Oh, nice.
Oh boy.
Man, it is. You guys know about the plasma coil, right, Mitsu?
Probably my favorite gun in the game right
coil?
now. Yeah, I love that plasma coil.
Yeah, you're gonna. The thing's gonna collect dust for you here pretty soon.
Seriously?
Oh no.
So what you're saying is that we're all gonna go broke tipping Moxie to get the perfect roll on a crit.
I'm okay with this.
But
what's the percentage?
There's a risk reward involved with the crit though, because the crit is the gun that is slippery when wet.
Yeah.
Moxie, innuendos, blah, blah, blah. When you reload the gun, you have a 5% chance now to drop the gun. It used to be you had a 12 or 13% chance to drop it. Now it's a 5% chance to drop it.
Well, that's good.
And they give it a huge damage buff.
Oh my God.
It was like 3,000 damage at level 65 Mayhem 10. Now it's 30,000 damage.
Oh my God.
So it's pretty substantial.
Oh man.
That's incredible.
Well, I know what I'm doing after the Bordercast.
Yep. Same.
But again, the risk reward is if you drop it and you're not paying attention and you leave the map or you save the crit, it's gone.
I'm going to lose.
So there's risk reward.
Yeah, that's terrible.
I'll be near a cliff or something, because that's my luck.
Yeah.
Like I slide off cliffs all the time. I walk off cliffs all the time. So like I'll be next to a cliff and I'll just like slip out of my hands and just bye. See you later.
Bye forever.
I just get distracted by shiny things. Like, oh, shiny thing. Bye, beautiful guy.
Yeah. I'm a dog. I'm like, shiny.
Yeah.
It's really funny that this is coming up right now. Two things. One, Commander Shepard had a really good question. How much do you have to tip in order to be eligible for a crit from Moxie?
I think it's random, isn't it?
It's completely random.
Yeah.
You can tip her $100 one time and get it.
Yeah.
Or you could tip her $1,000 27 times and not get it.
Yep.
You know what I mean? It's completely random with Moxie. It's just like how it was in Borderlands 2. You would sit there spamming the tip jar, and then sometimes you would get it. Sometimes it'd take forever. So it's the same way.
There was a metric between like $30,000 to $50,000 in order to get something from Moxie there, where it was, I think it was every 20,000 maybe. I might be misremembering, but one was the bad touch and one was the good touch. And you would get one, and then the other alternatively each $20,000 interval, something like that. I don't remember specifically, but that was a little bit more consistent. Now you're telling me that it doesn't matter how much you donate.
Doesn't seem
matter how many times you could get it, or you just might not get it.
Yeah, like I've gotten 2 crits in a row, or 2 hells in a row. So it I don't think it matters. I think it's just random.
I think it's random.
Going broke.
Yep, definitely.
And
one of my characters will get it.
Eventually, probably, hopefully.
Yeah.
Fingers crossed. The other thing was Psychotic Wolf pointed this out, and I saw this on Twitter too, but I haven't had a chance to watch because we've been live while it happened. Apparently, Moxie, there exists a clip right now on Moxie's Twitter, at Moxie, MOXSYOG, on Twitter, of him using it in Maliwan Takedown, and the crit slips out of his hands, falls off the map, and is unrecoverable.
Oh, no.
I'm telling you, that will happen to me.
That's the risk. Hey, today I was actually doing that while I was testing the crit, and mine dropped right beside the cliff to fall into the Valkyrie's pit. And I didn't realize it at first. I'm like running around shooting at other stuff, and I'm like, oh crap, where's my crit? So I had to like walk around, look, and it's a purple. It's not a legendary. It's a purple.
Right.
Oh my
So
God.
that's another factor that goes into this. So I'm glad that they made it strong, because if you drop it, it's kind of hilarious. You know what I mean? Kind of not, kind of.
Do you automatically switch to a different gun after it slips? So
yeah, and it's not like an animation where you're swapping to another gun.
Yeah.
It's just instantly you have that other gun in your hand. So maybe if you're not paying close enough attention, you're like, but it does make a sound since it's a purple.
That's true.
Drops.
Yeah.
Oh, that's
It'd be nice to have like an animation, like your character's like, what the heck?
Yeah, like,
Yeah.
What happened?
I will totally drop it and just keep going and not realize till an hour later, and they'll be like, why am I not doing damage? Like, what?
it's gonna happen.
Backtrack.
It's gonna happen.
Yeah.
That's tough.
Doc in the chat asked me if I was having trouble finding the crit.
Oh.
I know we're not supposed to do this, but I have to do this because, oh boy. Jesus Christ.
Oh, man.
Unbelievable. Wow.
Oh my
I've
God.
been waiting long enough. I know. Never mind.
Oh, guess it's time to move on next. I was going to say the buff to the Void Rift. I think there were a couple of people in chat that were saying the Void Rift already was pretty strong, and they're buffing it 105% according to useful data, lazy data. Just like, are you kidding me? What? Okay, we now know, again, spoilers, we'll talk about it soon, Ki11erSix is coming out. How hard is Ki11erSix actually going to be that they needed to buff all of these different guns and shields and grenades and everything this much? Because that's what they're doing it for.
In theory, but yes, probably. I would imagine that's true. Every single time new content comes out, there are usually some buffs and things, and we're like, okay, this has got to be for the next thing. And then the next thing launches, and we're like, oh my God, it's so hard still. And it's wonderful. I mean, I think it should be hard. It's the first raid boss in Borderlands 3. Like, hello, spoilers. But honestly, if you don't already know that, you've been under a rock for the last 24 hours. So I'm so sorry. Welcome to the universe. We're all very, very, very excited about this raid boss. And I want it to be hard. I want it to be hard for the incredible lazy data, Triple G, Ki11erSix, TBJ Quag builds, like, among us, you know, which, speaking of, there'll be a Ultimate Vault Hunters episode airing in just a couple hours, or just an hour and 15 minutes, right here on this very channel with TBJ Quag. It's a very cool love bot episode, so stay tuned for that. Anyway, I mean, I think it's supposed to be incredibly hard, right? The first raid boss, one of the biggest challenges ever. It should be the biggest challenge ever, right? Whether or not there are greater challenges after that, who knows? But like, it should be hard. It should be nigh impossible, but hopefully at least a little bit possible.
That was what the entire point of Vora was back in the day. Vora was almost like a middle finger at that point to like people like Baru, who were just soloing things left and right that weren't supposed to be able to be soloed, and everybody was like, well, here's Vora, Veracitus. It's going to run around. It's going to have a ridiculous shield that it just regenerates. There's going to be another guy running around that you have to kill, but if you kill him before a certain point, then Vora gets its shield completely back, and then you have to chew down the shield, then chew down the health bar. Oh, yeah, and it'll almost always like a health gate you immediately with every hit, and it hits very quickly, and also puts acids on you, and the acid ticks will probably kill you if you do not health gate yourself back up immediately. Have fun. Go.
The difficulty.
Like going to grandma's house.
I would rather go do Grandma Torg than Vora. I mean, and I know there are people who think the other way. No, go ahead.
Yeah, we're good.
Go ahead, G6.
I don't even remember what I was going to say now. The Grandma Torg visual did me in.
Oh, my bad.
Well, I'll say this. For me, beating something like that is such an incredible feeling. Like, if you've ever just done something hard, like, you know, gone for a long run or just beat a really hard boss in a video game and anything in between, when you're staring down that, like, gullet of doom, for lack of a better word, it's terrifying. And then you're there and you're in the middle of it and it's so hard and you're just like, by the skin of your teeth, literally just like surviving, and then you make it through, and the adrenaline that goes through your body and just the heck yeah feeling is so rewarding. And I'm sure there'll be awesome loot. I can't imagine there not being awesome loot. So yeah, I think it should be incredibly hard, and I'm looking forward to getting my face punched in by it.
So just like Grandma Torque.
Pretty much, yeah.
It's very hard for those of us who have memories like goldfish.
Spoiler alert, Grandma Torg is the first boss. There's actually two bosses, and to beat Grandma Torg to get to Hemovorous.
Oh God.
I retire.
No,
I did say I missed my grandma.
Grandma Torg, but if you beat Grandma Torg, you get 500 iridium, so you can immediately go do Hemovorous. Again, spoilers, we're getting way ahead of ourselves.
I know.
Explaining things that we haven't actually talked about yet, but that's okay. So you know what? Why don't we just get into it? There was a Borderlands show yesterday.
Oh yeah.
It was a really, really fun show. Greg and Fran once again joined myself. They offered to have me come in as third chair, and we had a wonderful conversation about all these wonderful things happening in the Borderlands community, everything that is happening with the game itself and the series, which we'll get to in a second, as well as having a great conversation with Randy Varnell, which we will talk a lot more about in the B side of the program. The first and most important thing, of course, is we talked about the hunt, which was really nice to do and have that out there to a larger audience. I tried to get as much as possible in there for all the information pertaining to it. Talking about Gonza, who I miss sorely, one of the forerunners of everything that we do here in this community, who has gone on since to work for Twitch partnerships. I miss him a lot. I very rarely get to see him, but he's always been wonderful. But enough about that. Broken Hearts. Broken Hearts is finally back. I'm going to start at oh, that's you did that last year too. One of Tessa's emotes is she has a heart, and she actually has a plushie of said heart with like a heart monitor, like the like a think
EKG line.
Yeah, like the thank you, yes, on the heart, and she's holding up one right now for everybody to see. So
It's so cute.
Yes. I love it.
This is
It's
for
so
all
nice.
of you guys.
We'll open up the floor this way. Mystique, how happy are you that Broken Hearts is coming back?
Well, I'm extremely happy because, believe it or not, I didn't actually get a chance to play it last year.
Oh,
Yeah, I was in a hiatus of like not being able to play games or stream. I had some family issues, so I wasn't able to really take part in it. So I actually didn't even know it was a thing until after it was already over. So I am extremely excited to play it today. Lots of hearts are gonna be broken and bloody.
Yes. What about you, Ki11er?
Dude, the wedding invitation, level 65, it's going to be so good. That gun does so much more than most people know. That alone is worth doing this event for. And it doesn't take very long to get to 100 hearts, which is all you need in order to unlock that thing. So you definitely want to get one.
Yeah, it's really impressive, and it's a very satisfying gun to use. And I know this because I played a little bit with the build that TBJ Quag is going to showcase on Ultimate Vault Hunter later today, in like an hour and 10 minutes, with Liz 55, our host of Ultimate Vault Hunter. That build is based entirely around the wedding invitation. It's just so satisfying. I mean, Jacob's weapons in general are, but this one in particular, like when you land a crit with it, it's like a visceral feeling. It's so good.
Yeah.
I'm psyched for that.
You're especially rewarded because it starts as fire damage, and then I believe on the ricochet it converts to cryo damage too. So you get to have the benefit of both of those elements going around if you nail a crit with it. Which, I mean, not all of us. Who is it? Who's a crit monster? Somebody during one of Triple G's challenges just created builds that were all around just having perfect accuracy, and I can't remember who it was offhand right now, but it was very clear that this person was just a sharpshooter of legend.
Must have been me. I've got great aim.
You know what? I believe it.
Ki11er does have incredible aim. It's true. His eyes are going side to side for our listeners.
Very
Do a lot of visual humor. Sorry, guys.
He's all
right.
good.
Yes.
He's all good.
Yeah. I've noticed that some people do doubt, I think, the efficacy of the wedding invitation, which I implore people get it at level 65 op 10, or I should say mayhem 10. Give it a chance to actually shine on its own merits and see if you like it. There are opportunities for you to be able to make this gun work for you. It might not necessarily be in a build that you're comfortable with, but that doesn't mean that the gun is bad. It just means that you might need to adjust a few things to make it actually be a good gun. And that happens. That happens a lot with builds in this game. Yeah. That's why we have Ultimate Vault Hunters, like you were talking about, Tess.
See, I'm not a huge sniper person.
Same.
Like I use SMGs, pistols, and ARs. Like I've just never been a super huge fan of snipers. So I'm anxious to use this one though. It looks like it might be fun.
It's just very satisfying. Like I'm the same. I love SMGs. They're the best. Automatic weapons in general. I have a hand issue that basically means I play with pretty much exclusively my left hand, and I just use my right to like aim the camera, and that's it with a trackball. So for me, automatic weapons definitely normally the way to go. But with this gun, it's usable, especially in a build optimized for it. So either make your own or check out the Ultimate Vault Hunter build. I'm sure all of the awesome YouTubers are going to put out builds for it or already have, and you should definitely give them all a watch and try to make those builds happen for yourselves. The event starts today and it ends February 25th. So you can go get started on it, I think, right now, actually, if you want to. But before you do that, we have some other news for you guys. This one is a personal favorite. And probably like many of you watching yesterday, I was so shocked, and a little bit upset with Fran because he hasn't played Tales from the Borderlands, but now he has no excuse. Man better play it. I know I'm going to replay it. I actually still have it. So I might start a playthrough of it like this weekend on the Borderlands channel because why not? Tales from the Borderlands is back in stores, Xbox, PlayStation, and PC. You guys can grab it for yourselves. It is a wonderful addition in terms of story and lore and just an overall really good experience. The art, the characters. If you played Borderlands 3, which I'm assuming most of you guys watching and listening. Cancel Fran. No.
Hashtag cancel Fran. That's good.
Yeah, Ki11erSix looks very angry at Fran. I agree with him. You can't call yourself Fran. You cannot call yourself a proper Borderlands fan if you have not played Tales. It's
Come
good.
on, Fran. Jeez.
Do it. Get on it.
Ridiculous.
Figure it out, Fran.
Seriously.
Before you,
very mean.
yeah, I don't know what else to say there.
It's
Before you
so good.
get anybody else killed,
Seriously.
I have no idea. I'm just spewing nonsense at this point.
That's what this show is.
That's what Borderlands.
That's what I treated it. Yeah, it's Borderlands. That's the entire premise of the series. It's nonsense. Amazing nonsense that we love to play is nonsense.
Very much.
To add on what Tess is saying, if you have an Xbox Series X, Xbox Series S, or a PlayStation 5, do not worry, as this game is backwards compatible, and you will be able to enjoy Tales from the Borderlands on those systems for your respective consoles as well. So if you want that Tales experience, it's pretty great. I will say there is just one small caveat. The game in itself is completely, in its entirety, there. The only feature that was not able to be brought to the new version of the game is the version that lets you know what the other choices would have been had you taken them for each chapter. That's it. That's the only thing that's different about it. I didn't even realize, like, I knew it was there, but I didn't even think about it because the entire point for me was to play it and enjoy that choice for what it was. And then if I wanted to go back and play it again and experience what was different, I would do that.
So what you're saying is you should just play it more than once and figure out what all the possible endings are and choices, make things happen.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Yes.
Just checking. What do you guys think? I know what we all think of Fran. But I'm sorry, Fran. But
not.
not really. Ki11erSix, Mystique, what do you guys think about the lore that exists in Tales? And like, what's your favorite part? What's your favorite character?
Oh man. It's been a hot minute since I've played Tales. And just for me, I always enjoyed, because I love Handsome Jack. Love Handsome Jack. So I just love the fact that we see Handsome Jack, and we see like the story, more of a story behind him and everything. And then of course Vaughn and Reese, like I love their interactions. It's just so wholesome. And for me, it's just about like the Handsome Jack story, and because he's my favorite villain, him and Gladys, favorite villains all time.
Oh, you did a fair watch.
What about Gortys? Gortys is my actual favorite, and I wish he was in Borderlands 3 so much.
Gortys is the character that I most wanted to see come back in Borderlands 3.
Me too.
So for anybody that's never played Tales from, I'm not going to spoil anything, but you will love Gortys or you have no soul. That's all. No big deal. So you either love Gortys or your Fran. What's that?
Which is ironic because neither does Gortys.
True. So either you love Gortys or you're Fran Marabella. So, one of those two. One of those two.
Yeah.
Wow.
This is like
My favorite part though is I'm only going to say one thing, and I don't want to I'm not going to spoil anything again, but bro. That's all you know.
Bro.
You get it.
If you know, you know.
Bro.
The
Also,
original bro.
Finger guns. You guys remember finger guns?
No.
You don't remember the finger guns part? Oh.
Yes. Oh, yes.
You're gonna go play it again, Mitsu.
Like, you're reminding me of all the things.
Yeah. I understood that reference.
Oh, God. I need to play it again. It's so good. I love it so much. Oh, God. So I'm finishing, total side note, I am finishing Borderlands 2 VR as a full playthrough and showcasing it on the Borderlands channel. Once I am done with that, Tales. We're going back to Tales soon. Anyway.
I think it's about time for that. Yeah, the Tales is back, which is wonderful to see, of course. The next thing that we got to talk about on the show is probably the big one, the director's cut.
No big deal.
We finally got information on the director's cut. Just kind of a big deal. I'm kind of a big deal. People know about this.
I heard the director's cut drives the Dodge Stratus.
Oh,
Jesus. That's a deep cut. Wow.
Yeah.
That would be interesting.
Some people will get that, and other people will be like, "That sounded really stupid." Some people will be like, "That was hilarious." That's
the most ridiculous non sequitur I've ever heard in my entire life. And some people are like, "Wow, I got that. That was good. That was actually really good." So we have Ava's missions, and we're going to talk a little bit more about Ava and the implications of her having an entire quest line dedicated to her in a little bit. Believe me, we will. Vault cards. Now, we talked about this a little bit, I think, in the pre-show. Mm-hmm. Vault cards, when I first heard about this, when we were reading the script and everything, they seem to me like dailies, a la, the MMOs of old and lots of other games that have things for you to at least be incentivized for in going and doing this things in the game, which is wonderful. And I talked about this very briefly. There needed to be something in Borderlands for people who like a little bit more structure. Borderlands 2 was very, very open-ended. You set your goals and you could achieve them or not bother if you didn't care. Like if you wanted to go out and farm savagely for a Herald for 67 hours, you would just go do that so you could get your perfect Herald. These vault cards seem, to me at least, to be more indicative of go and do X, Y, and Z, and you will be rewarded with this reward. And I like that. I like that a lot. So I'm going to turn it over we'll start with K6 this time. K6, what do you think of the vault cards?
Love it. Anything where, like, I when I'm doing things, I have to have a checklist. You know what I mean? I'm that kind of guy. I need that structure of like, do this, do this, do this. So having something like this, which is basically a checklist for getting some sweet gear, I'm all about it. And it, from the picture that they showed of all the, the cosmetics, plus a lot of people don't seem to realize this, at the top there was new weapons Those weren't just skins; those were new weapons. So there's at least 3 new weapons and 1 shield that was at the top of that picture. So I gotta have it all.
Same.
Super
By all
same.
means, Mystique, what do you think of it?
I was like I was saying before, I kind of assumed that there was going to be a vault, a raid boss in the thing. So we kind of knew that. We kind of like understood there was going to be something big to fight in there. So when they announced vault cards, I was probably more excited about vault cards because I've been wanting to do something like daily missions and weekly missions and have a challenge to get more rewards. For me, I think there's 28 rewards, and I'm don't know if like those rewards are just for that vault card. So because there's going to be 3 vault cards. So if the rewards are just for that vault card, or if those rewards are going to be spread out over the 3 vault cards. So I'm not sure if we have any information on that, but I'm excited about the weapons, the heads, like the hats, like all of that, the Maya and Angel mix up.
Yes. Oh my God.
Scooter hat.
The scooter hat, the
Scooter
Roland
hat.
beret, and the Typhon goggles. Like it was all amazing. But I will be upset if they don't make the shield a Roland shield. Because
So it's literally transparent. Let's bullets through.
yeah, like it needs to, like that shield has to, because everything else was about fallen heroes, right? Everything else was about, because I think one of the skins was like a siren skin for the gun.
Yeah.
So my only thing, I was trying to figure out what guns went with who, and then I was like, well, the shield, like obviously it has to be Roland.
Yeah. Oh, that's interesting. I wonder.
Yeah.
There was one particular gun skin. So I've been wanting more gun skins in Borderlands 3 for forever. This is like a thing I've been asking for because there's a lot of really beautiful ones, but I wanted ones that were like more colorful. Because I mean, the reality is you see your guns more than anything else, right? Your gun is like you see your gun more than your character, more than anything except the beautiful environment, right? And there is a gun skin that matches MystiqueSiren's beautiful hair, which is purple and blue together, and it's gorgeous. And I need it in my life. Like that is going to be my first goal. Give me that gun skin. I don't know what it's called. I just saw it on a picture, and I need it. I want it. Please, I need it as soon as possible. It's going to be mine.
Me too.
One of the few things I'm sad about is there aren't too many weapon skins in the game, and the ones that exist are really well done. Chad talking about Deep Nebula, for example. Deep Nebula is wonderful. The skin that came with the deluxe edition or the ultimate edition, which was a rainbow skin. I love rainbows. So that was a great example of one. But in game, it didn't feel like there were enough of those going around. And it seemed like such a big part of the game at the start. Same thing goes for the trinkets. The little trinkets that you can hang off of your guns. Those were super cool and really well implemented too. Excuse me, because they were not attached to the gun. They were a separate slot so that even when you changed what gun was in that slot, the trinket would stay on that particular weapon, which I thought was really, really cool.
I wish that was the case for gun skins also. I think we brought this up before. Yeah, that would be really nice. Especially now that there are more coming out. My favorite, God, I can never remember the name of it because I just put it on everything and then forget. But there's a gun skin. It's not Deep Nebula, although that one is also gorgeous. It's like Thunder something. It's like lightning and thunder.
Oh, yeah.
You
I
know
can't remember.
what I'm
I know which one you're talking about.
Yeah, it's gorgeous. And I just want to put it on everything. But like, especially when you're going through, I do a lot of one life runs, challenge runs. Like right now I'm doing a TDR Allegiance run. When you're switching guns a lot, when you're going through stuff like that, you end up just not changing the gun skins all that much. Because it's not like the guns don't look gorgeous to begin with. They do. But it would be really nice if you could have a skin slot as well as a trinket slot. Thunderhead, thank you so much, chat. You guys are the best. It probably would require like way too much work of the devs that are already busy doing other things, but it would be cool someday. Just saying.
Yeah.
Anyway,
it's just one of those things where it's good to put it out there and see what happens when it floats in the ether.
like such a low priority thing, but someday.
Yeah, I know. Vault cards will run from March 18th to June 3rd for their first run, and there were at least 2 more runs announced on the Borderlands show as well. So as that draws closer, we'll of course remind everybody when they're happening. I think the second one starts in July, but that's all I think it's July 15th, but don't quote me on that. Again, when we have more information, we will bring that updated information to you all. Door. There was a door. There was a door. What's to put it? That sounds like a limerick. There once was a door in Ascension.
It's not
which
a window.
had no purpose in this dimension. So the community complained. And we used our big brains. And now a raid boss or mention.
It was beautiful.
Thank you. I had to figure out how to get out of that one. That was tough. That's not in the script, by the way. I really didn't.
Yes, you literally just came up with that. Good job.
Yeah, thank you. Yes, there is in fact a raid boss behind the door, and it has been announced to be Ki11erSix. Ki11erSix the Invincible, a giant Varkid, which some have said that they remember seeing all the way back in pre-roll footage, way back at the beginning of the game. I'm so excited. I have had the genuine honor of actually playing the boss. I can't comment on literally anything about it. Even if I could, I think I would hold off, mostly because I don't want to just spoil it for you guys. You should all be able to enjoy it fresh with your own eyes, your own guns, and your own builds, and enjoy what challenge they're throwing at you. Suffice to say that it also did drop new loot, which is to be expected, and that was also very intriguing, which again I cannot share anything about. So that's all I've got for that. I'm gonna turn it over to Mystique. How excited were you when you saw this? Because I know your chat lit up like a Christmas tree.
Yeah. You and I, because I was co-streaming it, and you and I literally reacted like the same way. We were both like, yes! We were both so excited. So, I mean, even though we kind of knew it was a raid boss, but it's still super exciting to see actually what it's going to be and what you're going to be fighting. So I'm excited. I even asked my chat this because a lot of people were like, oh, it's a Varkid. And I'm like, well, what would you rather have seen? I actually opened that up to my chat yesterday because everybody's like, oh, it was just a Varkid. We already had a Varkid, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, but I was like, you got to remember, like, people were like, Bullymong. I'm like, but you got to remember, we haven't seen Bullymongs in Borderlands 3. We haven't seen Threshers in Borderlands 3. So you're narrowing it down to Skag. Would you really want to fight a giant Skag? I wouldn't. No. I not me. I mean,
I'll fight anything.
That's true. Yeah, that's very true. But
except Gortys. I want her to fight with us.
Gortys, yeah. But yeah, no, I'm very excited. I'm glad they didn't show the health bars, and I'm glad they also didn't have a super OP build in there, because you could see that there was only the Moze was only doing like a couple 100k damage. Like you could like see it wasn't like super powerful either, but I enjoy that they didn't show the health bars, so we're kind of surprised when we go in. I want to literally go in, pay 500 iridium, and probably lose it immediately because I'm not going to be able to beat it with what I have on. So, and I'm okay with that because I got tons of iridium.
Yes, an iridium sync finally. What about you, Ki11erSix? When you first, so I know you and Jolts and everybody in the community, like every content creator and a huge swath of the community and a huge swath of the Discord. There's an official Borderlands Discord, by the way. You could type !Discord in chat or just go to discord.gg/Borderlands. Everybody's been clamoring to know what is behind this door. So when you first saw that there was indeed something behind this door, how excited were you?
So I was really excited because I've been behind that door by jumping a car over into the arena and things like that. And I remember me and Lazy Data and Jolts, dude, we were trying to get in there, and we were thinking, all right, maybe if we get in there, we'll trigger something. And I've seen a lot of people, even in the chat today, saying, well, this raid boss should be free because it was cut content. But you have to realize that this is a completely different thing than what we saw in the pre-release footage. What we saw in the pre-release footage was in this tiny little arena, and it was just basically a giant Varkid. And I'm really excited that this is actually going to be a really tough fight in a new arena. And I don't know. People want to complain about everything nowadays because it's the internet and everybody has a voice but nothing to say. You know what I mean? So here's the thing. It's going to be $15 for that part of that DLC. And you're getting the Ava murder mysteries, you're getting the raid boss, you're getting the vault cards, you're getting new cosmetics, new gear, new legendaries, an iridium sync finally, and who knows what else, because there's been some Gearbox devs that have tweeted out that there's going to be a big patch on that day too. Mm-hmm. So there's going to be probably big, really good bug fixes, some other buffs. Who knows, man? There's going to be a lot you're getting for this very minuscule amount of money, if we're being completely honest.
Just to clarify, the patch that's coming with the launch of this DLC, all of the quality of life stuff and bug fixes and things like that, that's going to be in the base game.
Free.
That's free.
That's free.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So the other stuff like the raid boss and all that stuff, that's paid, but it's only $15, which this, like K6 is super right. This stuff takes development time and a whole bunch of people working day in and day out to make this stuff happen and make this stuff work. And that's amazing, and they deserve to be paid for it. Yeah. Right. But
and somebody said in chat, somebody said in chat, it's cheaper than Borderlands 2. Like, like a lot of this content is cheaper than Borderlands 2. Like, we had to pay for headhunters. We're getting free events. It's $15 for all that stuff, and they're spreading it out with vault cards. Like, I like that.
It's a great idea, and we still have Revenge of the Cartels to go. Hopefully they're bringing that back. I'm keeping my fingers crossed so hard the bones are probably going to break at some point. To piggyback a little bit off of what K6 said as well about development cycles, it's worth pointing out that the footage that they might have shown of that VAR kid way back when might have been like ultra mega super pre-alpha development 6 years ago footage of an idea that they had. Because the way that I'm interpreting it based on the timeline of everything, and again, I don't know, this is just my interpretation based on conversations that I had, things that we brainstorm here on the Bordercast, and just general knowledge of video gaming. You show that, and then that could be so far back in development that they might have decided, all right, well, we've done raid bosses, maybe we'll go in a different direction. Let's take this concept, kind of like put it on the back burner and go with this new concept that they called takedowns. And they wanted to try something new. So this VAR kid that they developed all the way back then didn't fit in their plans. So it was basically their unused, not something that they had for their vision of the game. And I'm not going to say it was necessarily because of pressure on the community, but that certainly helped, I imagine, in this decision. They eventually decided that, okay, takedowns are good, but the community really wants that old raid boss feel. Well, we have this that we were working on. It was never a finished concept, but we want to bring it into the forefront and now make it a fully fleshed concept for everybody to enjoy. That, again, I don't know. I have not spoken with anybody. This is just me going off of a theory, but it seems to be a pretty sound theory in the fact that this was something that was completely unused and kind of just on the back burner based on that previous footage. And now here it is in a fully fleshed out concept that everybody can enjoy. Because even then, it looks like a VAR kid, sure. That doesn't necessarily mean that that is exactly what we're getting now.
I don't think
it's similar, you know?
I don't think this like existed and then they were like, okay, flip a switch, turn it on. I think this is a completely new design, maybe based on some ideas that they might have had that they didn't flesh out, but it's like a whole new thing that they've created just because people asked for it. And it's awesome. And of course they deserve to be properly compensated for all of the time and work that went into it. And again, it's only $15 and you get so much. And you do not have to have any of the previous DLC to get this, right? So like if you bought the season 2, the year 2 season pass, like the season pass 2, that includes the first season pass with Arms Race and this new one. So you already get this, right? But if you've never bought a Borderlands 3 DLC and you just have the base game, you only need to spend $15 to buy this. You don't have to have any of the other content to get this. Right. So like if you weren't that into whatever, anything else, you could totally just get this and be happy. And if you bought the ultimate, like most recent Ultimate Edition that includes everything, then you also get this. And like we said earlier, the patch that's coming with this DLC includes quality of life fixes, bug fixes, optimizations, all sorts of good stuff that is free, completely free, and Broken Hearts event that's live right now today. That's free. That's absolutely open to everybody. Any future events, like hopefully cartels, please, also included in free. So just keep that in mind. There's a ton of free content, and this game is huge. And I think we're very lucky to be getting all of this cool stuff. So that's my take on it, at least.
Ditto.
Yes. We are starting to run a tiny bit low on time, so we're going to kick it into overdrive and very quickly wrap up the rest of what was on the Borderlands show. The director's cut will also include an actual director's cut section for behind-the-scenes stuff, for Borderland fans of all types to enjoy, including bloopers. I love me some bloopers, so that'll be wonderful. The Final Form Cosmetic Pack. This is really exciting. And Tess, if you would please bring this up for the people to see. This is so cool. This is an image right here of what our Vault Hunters would look like had they given into temptation and joined up with Tyreen and Troy, becoming members of the Children of the Vault. And there is lore behind each of these characters as well, much like with the previous Super Cosmetic Pack, which is worth checking out at Borderlands.com. Mystique, what do you think of these skins real quick?
Oh, man. Let's just say that Mose is... confusing me at the moment, in a way.
Same.
Like she's staring into my soul right now, and
smizing.
He's smizing into my soul, and I'm confused. Confused. And I love Mose. Mose is hands down my favorite one. They're all great. Obviously, Zane's fantastic. Got the Captain Flint helmet on. Love it. The Zaddy belt buckle. I do wish Amara was showing a little bit more skin, just because that's like kind of like her thing. Like she's always showing her abs and stuff. And I would have loved to seen more of her tattoos. Yeah, that is the only complaint I have about any of these skins. Is I wish Amara would have been a little bit more revealing, I guess, because look at Mo, she's wearing a freaking bikini top. So
also her hair, also just everything.
Yeah. Oh, the head, that's the greatest head. Like it's amazing.
Now, to be fair, you can't see below her knees. She might be like barefoot.
That's true.
And that
would
open up a whole new category.
That's true.
Yeah, that's calves were like a thing like in the olden days.
I should have never asked him to come on this show.
No, I'm very happy that you are here. Oh boy.
I just want you to see their hilarious faces.
All right.
Ki11erSix, which one is your favorite?
My favorite is Zane with his Zaddy belt buckle and his Captain Flint hat. Nice throwback to his brother in Borderlands 2. Like that a lot. And I'll go ahead and mention that Flack looks pretty badass, dude. He looks like something out of Mad Max, because I haven't heard a lot of people talk about that, but he's got the chains on his arm and stuff.
Yeah.
Pretty dope.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. I didn't realize it made me think of Mad Max, but it does. And the mohawk with the spikes and everything. It's so cool. Mitsu, which one's your favorite?
Oh boy. All right. So okay. It's hard because this particular aesthetic actually is not really my thing. I like cyberpunk. I like neon lights. I like bright things. If you remember, I think it's Ethereal from Borderlands 2 for Maya's skin. Yes. As soon as I got that is the only skin I ever wore for her ever again. I love bright colors like that. So this doesn't necessarily appeal to me specifically, but when I saw it at first, I was like, oh no, people are really gonna love this because of the take that this is on everybody. I didn't think the Mose, that's the one that surprised me the most. Everybody's losing their friggin' minds over Mose right now, which that's fair. And I saw, and this is a really good comparison, people were saying that Zane's skin reminds them a lot of Krieg.
Yep.
Yes.
A lot of Krieg.
Yes.
He's got the 8-pack going on. He's got the helmet going on. He's got like a one arm that's completely just like armored up. If he had a buzz axe, you probably wouldn't be able to tell the difference, honestly.
Yeah.
They probably use the same like body double as Krieg to make that.
Maybe.
Like, I feel like
Very possible.
that's probably what they were like. Let's just take Krieg's body and just torso and just put it on there.
That would be cool. I actually really feel like Mose is channeling Tyreen, but doing it better.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like if Mose would have been Tyreen. Oh.
Yeah, like Mose does Tyreen better than Tyreen.
Yeah.
So I know this is kind of okay. I'm gonna switch for a second. I love the voice actress for Tyreen. She's amazing. I love the art. I love a lot of things about Tyreen, but I freaking despise her in general. Because she's just a spoiled little and she makes me very, very angry. So I think Mose does a better Tyreen than Tyreen 1000%. So yeah, I'm gonna rock the skin.
That's rough.
Yes, I'm sorry. I really dislike her. I think of the various teenagers that exist in Borderlands, Ava is not the worst by any means. So,
Boy,
anyway.
Pickle.
that sounds like a great segue to go into our next topic. That was really good. It's like you practiced this or something. Which, yes, all of this leads to our discussion with Randy Varnell that we had on the Borderlands show, the story wizard at Gearbox. Ava is a character that has been quite polarizing in the community. There are some people that genuinely actually really love Ava. Promise I've actually talked with them. They're very interesting folks. And there are some people who really do not appreciate her for various reasons. And on the Borderlands show, one of the things that we wanted to do was openly and honestly confront Randy about it. And to my delight, I was very happy to find out that he did not shy away from these questions, and he answered them very honestly. One of the major points that Randy made is that they know, because they hear all the feedback and they feel all this feedback, is that Ava missed the mark in some respects due to a variety of reasons, one of which they felt like was a time constraint in developing her character. And I can at least say that that seems accurate, because when it comes to Borderlands 3, one of the main issues I think that I have, and I don't know about others, but I imagine people on the panel might agree with this one, is we didn't get enough time with all of the characters that were introduced. Even the ones that we knew about for a long time, we were so busy. It was go to planet, meet new person, do a couple quests with them, go to new planet, do the same thing over and over again. And with Ava, the most time that we really spent with her was on Athenas, which was a fairly short planetary adventure. It's only one map and it's just running through. They have one other quest, of course, that's side quest. Tess, I know you like that one quite a bit, where you dig a little bit more into finding out what her journals contain and finding out a little bit more about her history of growing up on the streets and in sewers, like literally living in sewers. And you kind of get a sense of like where she came from and why she is the way she is.
A ton of people didn't do that side quest. I didn't realize this because like when I first played through, I was like story because I'm a story hound, and so I did everything right. And so from the very beginning, first of all, I found Tyreen incredibly condescending and selfish and annoying and blah blah blah. So I just like, it was like easy to hate her. I think she was meant to be hated, so I hated her. And Ava was annoying. She was a teenager and she was annoying. I'll admit that, of course. But as soon as I did that side quest, I got to know her and understand her and kind of realized that she came from literal poop. Like she literally lived in a poop sewer. Okay.
Cave.
Yeah. And
Cave, yeah.
Yeah. And
Cave. Yeah.
yeah, and like she came from that. And like, yes, she's an annoying teenager. Yes, she made a lot of mistakes. And I don't feel like she's fully grown up or had that like character depth and character arc and earned all of the sort of like earned the run of Sanctuary and Maya's powers, who, I mean, if you look at me and Mystique, okay, you'll have some semblance of an idea of who one of our favorite characters is in the Borderlands universe. Hello, Maya.
Marcus. It's Marcus, isn't it?
Yeah.
There's really only one answer here. I don't know what you guys are talking about, but clearly Typhon DeLeon's the #1 fan favorite.
Okay.
Commandant Steel. Okay, it's Commandant Steel. Okay.
Oh, I wish they'd had more time with Commandant Steel, honestly, but that's a different discussion for
That
another
is.
day.
Oh, I could discuss about her all day.
Wish we had a whole lot more time with Commandant Steel.
Yeah, but that was back in a time when story. Well, yeah, that was back in a time when story wasn't really like the main focus. You know what? I'll say this much before we continue with that. Maybe we'll find out a little bit more about her in the Borderlands movie.
I hope so. Oh, that would be cool.
I have the perfect actress to play Commandant Steel too.
Who?
I can't remember her name. I watched Skylines movie. It's called Skylines. It is a very B movie. Like, it's not very well known, but they did 3 of them. And it has Raven Reyes that played in the one TV show. And she's the main character. And it's one of her like people that go off on the adventure with her, and she has the braids and everything, literally, like the braids, the cornrows, like all of that, and it's like platinum blonde hair and looks just like Commandant Steel. I literally pulled up a picture and showed Jesse. I said, look at this. This is who should play this if they ever did a movie.
I know who it is. It's Jared Leto.
No, God. I'll have to figure out what her name is and like submit it.
I'm looking for pictures and not seeing, but we'll figure this out after stream. And then
yeah, I need to.
I'm curious now. But yeah, so total segue, but like
sorry.
no, it's cool. I love Maya more than we all do. Like, who doesn't love Maya? Literally, like, I don't. Come on, Ki11erSix. I don't believe you. I don't believe you. You raised his hand, and I'm like, he's lying.
He's all right.
I don't believe you.
But I think the problem that people have is they feel like Ava was brought in to replace Maya, which literally she took her powers, and it wasn't fair, and she hasn't earned it, and partially responsible or not, blah, blah, blah. Obviously, the person that's responsible for Maya's death is the person that killed her and his stupid, incredibly irritating teenage butthole sister. Okay? But people don't like Ava for a variety of different reasons. And I think if you haven't done that side quest that already exists on Athena's, you should do it so you can get to know her a little bit better. But also, I'm personally very glad that they are bringing in more backstory to her and deepening her character. I don't like Ava very much. I don't hate her, nothing like some of the hate that she gets out in the Borderlands verse. I think it's very unfortunate that a lot of people hate her so much. I don't think she got enough of a chance. But this is her chance. This is what I personally really wanted to see. So I love Maya, and Maya believed in Ava. And I want Ava to earn that. I want that to be paid off. It's like narrative payoff in a good book or TV show or movie even, where there's like an arc for a character somewhere in the beginning that starts and then like fizzles out and never gets paid off, and you're just left kind of like being like, well, okay, so now she's our leader, but why, right? You didn't get that. You didn't get that depth that's meant to be there. And we've been saying this. A lot of the community has been saying this, even the people that really like her. And they listened. They absolutely listened. And these are things that I think Randy said in the interview that were left out, or maybe they were not able to include it at the time for a number of reasons, but now they're able to flesh out her character and give us more of that backstory and give us more of that depth that we're looking for. So obviously we haven't played through it yet. We'll see once we play through it, but I'm very hopeful that Ava can be a character that we can respect.
So one of the questions that I asked Randy, and I think his answer made it in, but the question did not, is a kind of just an extension of what you were just talking about there. In her final moments, at least we think they're her final moments, as far as we know, Lilith is dead. Lilith chooses one of the two people that's in front of her. She has Tannis to choose, and she has Ava to choose. That's the binary choice that she has. And to me, and I basically confronted Randy about this, as like, you have Tannis, who had this wonderful arc. she started off as a very sane, normal, rational human being who was left on the Borderlands, like many, many people were left on Pandora, and she slowly degraded into an insane person. Like you can go back in Borderlands 1 and see the echo logs and follow the path of her mental state as it completely deteriorates to the point where she's talking to a chair and falling in love with a minecart. Like, obviously that's somebody who has things wrong. But if you get into Borderlands 3, you see that she starts to understand the value of human life. Again, she starts to regain from being around people in small bursts, these glimpses of humanity, and why you have to make hard choices sometimes that result in, unfortunately, people dying. And it's something that Ava doesn't quite understand yet. And that's through no fault of her own. That's just the inexperience of that character. She doesn't have learned life experiences like that. And so when I asked Randy about that, his answer was more along this line. Sometimes in the heat of the moment, you make decisions based on the best information that you have at that moment, and it doesn't always work out the way you want to. We don't always get the perfect happy ending that we want, even from as an outside perspective. It's illogical to us because she had that one choice. It was either Ava, who Maya believed in and said, this is the future. She is the future. I can't explain why, but you have to trust me on this one. Or you have Tannis, who's a little off her rocker, but has finally had this arc, but is obsessive because, as we see in the end credits, Tannis is so focused on just finding Lilith that if she was made leader, she would be in dereliction of those duties because she'd be so focused on a singular task, which is to see if Lilith can be saved from her current fate and situation. So that being said, how do you interpret that? Because I saw you had your hand up there for a second, K6. What's up?
Yeah.
I was just gonna mention that a lot of people seem to neglect the part about Ava where she actually has a character arc and she does grow.
Yes.
As a character. People forget that she was the only person crying about Typhon de Leon dying, even though Tannis loved him. Lilith didn't seem concerned. Tannis didn't seem concerned. There's Ava on the ground crying. Ava also saves Lilith and Tannis from death from Tyreen.
Yeah.
Had she not been there, they're both dead. And she just continually throughout the story, like she's pretty annoying about everything right off the bat after the whole Maya thing. And during the Maya thing, obviously she's really annoying. But immediately after that, you go to her room and you talk to her and she's like, I just need a little bit of time. I'm sorry. I need a little bit of time to like think about things. I'm just really sad about Maya. Meanwhile, Lilith's like, let's go raid another vault. Nothing bad could happen from that. So I just feel like Ava gets a bad rap. I don't really like her as a character any more than anybody else hates her as a character. I just think that she had an arc. She actually grew. In my opinion, she might be the only character that did grow in the entirety of Borderlands 3. She might be the only person that had a starting point and then went somewhere else. Everybody else, stationary flat line. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So that's just my take on it. And so going back to like why Lilith gave her Sanctuary 3, I think that's just Lilith's not been a good leader ever. So if you're like, Lilith, make a decision. She's like, oh, let's put the kid in charge. She's not the best leader. So I chalked it up to, okay, well, that's just another bad decision on her part.
Yeah.
And that's very fair.
Yeah, that's a very fair point. And I hadn't really paid attention to the fact that she was upset about Typhon de Leon, and I've played through the story like a bazillion times. And so that's a really important point that I didn't even realize. So I feel like the sort of loud annoyances of Ava drowned out the good parts of her and the little kind of not hidden, but the more subtle aspects of her growth and personality that are not nearly as obvious as like, oh, Maya died and blah, 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 this happened and like her being an annoying teenager, right? So I definitely think I even missed some of that. And so it's very easy to miss for just a casual player. And I get where the hate comes from, but I feel like people need to kind of like take a step back and think about, first of all, Tyreen and Troy killed Maya. They're the buttholes. Also, Tyreen literally is the biggest, most selfish poophead ever. And
Yes.
yes. And so just give Ava a chance. Play through the new story and get to know her and try to keep an open mind about it. Because I feel like the whole point of giving her these missions and giving us this opportunity to get to know her better is to give her more of that depth and to underscore some of those subtle things that might get us to like her more and might get us to at least respect her more, right? What about you, Mystique?
So yeah, I mean, I never really liked her because, I mean, yeah, she didn't kill Maya. Troy killed Maya. Nobody knew Troy could leech. Not even Troy. Not even Troy knew he could leech. So I don't think that doing anything differently would have changed Maya's death, period. Lilith talking to Maya about her tattoos, I don't think that would have changed it because they knew Tyreen could leech, but they had no idea that Troy actually had leeching abilities. So in that scenario, Ava going down, getting grabbed by Tyreen, Maya's first instinct, grab Troy, to make her let it go. So for me, I'm still salty about, Ava because she did indirectly have a hand in Maya's death because she ignored her and went down and she would have had no reason to grab Troy at that part. I think though that Maya knew she was going to die because sirens can obviously give their powers to anybody they choose. I guess because they're supposed to only be women. So any woman that they choose, they can, give their powers to. So I think Maya knew she was going to die. I don't think she knew the exact moment, but she definitely knew she was going to die. And she trusted Ava. I don't know that she totally knew why she trusted Ava, because if there's an echo on Athena that talks about Ava grabbing her book and taking her book, Maya wanting it back. And then Ava says, "Who's Nereid?" And Maya doesn't even know because Maya can't even read the book. So Nereid's actually, talking to, Maya in her dreams. And so there's just so much we don't know about like Nereid, and we need to know more about her. But all sirens are linked in some way, shape, or form, and they stay in somehow, even after death, linked to the people that they pass their powers on to. So I don't think Maya's dead, but I think she's still there within Ava. So I want to get to know Ava more and like her more because I loved Maya so much.
Same.
So
yeah.
I want this story to make me love Ava. So
Same. DLC 4 also really changed a lot of things. If you haven't played it, I don't want to spoil it for you, but
yes.
Yeah, but of course, but I just mean chat. But I mean, at this point, you probably should have played it. Basically, in DLC 4, there's echoes and various things that happen that speak to the fact that Maya lives on as like a thinking, sentient entity in both Ava and Krieg. And you can even go to Krieg's mind and hang out and talk to her. So she's gone, but she's not gone. She's still with us. And especially because she's within Ava in a very significant way, just like you said, I also Maya loved her. Maya believed in her. Maya continues to live through her. Yep. I want to like her, so I want to give her a chance. We'll see what happens, but I want to.
Honestly, if you want to get a deeper dive into everything, like I kind of just hit on, listen to all the Athena echoes and listen to all the Nereid dialogue. I mean, the Nereid dialogue is, the first time I ever listened to it all the way straight through, my mind was just blown because it was like sirens don't ever truly die. They're linked within each other. Blah, blah, blah. Don't find the seventh siren. It's me. Just kidding.
Maybe.
I mean, hey, Mystique, mystery, the aura of mystery. I'm the seventh siren. That's how.
I thought you were
fun.
I thought you were saying that as like Nereid.
Yeah.
You
I was like, I don't
are
think
actually
Nereid's
the
the
seventh.
seventh.
Okay.
Yeah, no, I got Mystique. Yeah. I think that'd be amazing.
Mystique,
Please
mystery,
put
yeah.
Mystique into the game. That would be boss.
Yeah.
I think there's more lore in the Nereid writings than there are in the entirety of Borderlands 1 and 2 combined.
Oh,
I think there's more just in those writings to like tie the entire Siren story together than what you got from everything in the previous Borderlands games.
Yes.
And it's a shame that more people don't know about them. You should, if nothing else, go watch a YouTube video that just like plays them all in a row. Do something like that, but they're absolutely worth listening to.
Yeah, there's so much there. I think one of the things that people really wanted from Borderlands 3 was more lore, and we got that, but a lot of people like don't notice it for some reason. So go there and read the writings. Definitely watch a YouTube video. There are plenty of them out there, and there's a lot of information there. I want more, and I'm hoping that we get more through this new DLC. We'll see.
Yeah. If you like for some reason can't find it on YouTube, if you have all the Iridian writings in your, like, you've collected them all, you can go in and manually listen to all of them.
Yeah.
By the way, you don't have to go to YouTube if you don't want to take them.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Don't go to YouTube.
it's a trap.
My only issue is always that with things like this, I love the fact that they are expanding on the lore and using Typhon de Leon logs, for example, and the Iridian writings to kind of expand on that, which I love. For me, I've always just wanted it to be told in the game. It's the same problem I have with like the Star Wars prequels, for example. There's so much great Star Wars expanded universe stuff out there that really justifies everything that you see in the prequels. But if you don't go and consume all of that content, you watch the prequels and you're like, I don't get it. They're talking about a nest of Gundarks. What is this about? And so it's the same thing with Borderlands, where it's like they're talking about all this wonderful backstory, but I kind of want to experience this backstory. I want to live it. I want to breathe it. I want to see it with my own eyes and be a part of this. That's why my favorite cutscene in Borderlands is the only cutscene that actually acknowledges you as an existing force in the universe, which is when Troy phase locks you and literally has a monologue for like 2 minutes where he goes on about his evil machinations and how he's kind of salty that his sister is always the center of attention and how he kind of want to takes over. And it almost sets up for like this conflict where the two of them are going to fight and then nothing comes of it. But like, at least he's acknowledging you and that you're part of the story and this universe, and you're actually learning by experiencing these things instead of just reading it or like witnessing it as an outside perspective that doesn't actually exist in the cutscenes. It's my favorite cutscene, so that's my diatribe aside right there, which I probably shouldn't have done because we are so pressed for time, like ultra pressed for time. So
I blame Ki11erSix and MystiqueSiren for being way too much fun to talk to.
Sorry.
I agree.
Darn it.
I will see myself out.
Not before you get plugs. This is the whole thing that you come here. We wouldn't have you guys not at least be able to talk about the stuff that you're doing right now, which we're going to get to right now. Ki11erSix, where can the people find you?
They're right here at these little links that Tess put on the screen so graciously. Twitch.tv/Ki11erSix, Twitter /Ki11erSix, YouTube Ki11erSix. Same place same name everywhere.
That's Ki11erSix. Ki11erSix on Twitter and Twitch. Yes. Mystique, where can they find you?
MystiqueSiren on everything. Mystique is spelled like X-Men. Siren is, of course, wee woo, just like. I broke Mitsu last time I said that. Just it's Twitter, Twitch, Instagram, YouTube. It's all MystiqueSiren. One word, not separated. But yeah, just I go live every Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday on Twitch. So you can find me there. Sky.
The links will also be in the podcast description section if you are listening. You guys, thank you so much for watching us. Mitsu, where can they find you?
Twitter.com/Mitsu Show, MITSUSHOW, where I tweet a lot. I was especially active today tweeting about all things Borderlands because there was a lot of movie information, and hopefully we'll be able to touch on that a lot more next week. Now you understand, after we have finally been an hour and 30 minutes into the show, why we could not get to it today. I'm hoping we can have 55 on. We would love to have Liz share all of her insights as somebody who has worked in the business and kind of give us her thoughts on the casting directions. And of course, twitch.tv/Mitsu, MITSU. Tess, your turn. Go.
Right here on the Borderlands channel a whole lot because I stream here on a fairly regular basis. Sundays right now, regular day, and also some Wednesdays and Tuesdays, most Tuesdays and Wednesdays time. Also on Twitter at Tess Games and on Twitch at Tessachka, Tessa, CHKA. Saturdays are my only guaranteed day. Other days are kind of random but dry. Instagram also Tess Games. Yeah. About it. You guys, thank you so much for being here with us today. Ki11erSix, MystiqueSiren, podcast listeners, viewers on Twitch, Facebook, YouTube, Steam. Thank you so much for hanging out. You guys are absolutely amazing. The whole point of the show is just to interact with you guys and bring you cool news and answer cool questions that we get from you guys. And this whole community would not be what it is if not for every single one of you involved. Please make sure you check out The Hunt 2021. Huge thank you to Ki11erSix and Jolts Dude for making that happen. Definitely make sure to check out Mystique because she's just awesome. And she's going to give you all the pro tips on like, copy her homework for The Hunt. I'm going to. Seriously. And of course, Mitsu, who like knows everything and everybody about everything and everybody and is just awesome and fun. So make sure you check him out too. Thank you, you guys. Thank you for listening on Spotify, SoundCloud, iTunes, TuneIn, YouTube Music, and Stitcher. We're live on Twitch every Thursday at 2 p.m. Eastern, 11 a.m. Pacific. Stay tuned because in about 13 minutes, Ultimate Vault Hunter will be airing right here on the Borderlands channel with, as Mitsu earlier mentioned, the wonderful Liz, aka 55, and this week's guest, TBJ_Quag, with his Lovebot build.
Ooh.
I'm very excited for it because it features a gun that apparently people are still not sold on, which you will all be able to obtain right now, the Wedding Invitation. So with all of that said, on behalf of Tess, MystiqueSiren, Ki11erSix, everybody on the entire content creation team, and of course, myself. Thank you so much for joining us as you do every single week. Now go forth and make some mayhem.